Suspension 101. First of all, this is how suspension looks if you don't do anything too crazy. You just use it on a car. If it's too strong, like if you set the maximum, it won't work as suspension, as it just won't. This suspension doesn't have suspension itself doesn't have any collision, which means it can have things like this, and because it has no collision, it also is weightless. So it can have stuff like this where there's only one actual point of contact, but it still stands. And if I do this, then it just up because it's way too light. So I'm gonna put this back on a lift. And also players are weightless. They are very, very weightless. If you crouch, sometimes it does something, but it only really happens if there's zero gravity or something. So I made this thing, so I unlock it and turn it on. It does something called the suspension glitch, which is basically just suspension breaking from the game. It's really easy to create one, and it's not easily breakable like this. This is a suspension setup. It's using both type of suspension, which is sport suspension and off-road suspension. So if I were to go over here, so what you need to do is place one on a block, place one on top, and then do that sides. To make sure that it's actually on the right thing, you can use the connect tool, no, the weld tool, to do it. You put two suspension on that. Then you make sure this is linked up and not linked up to the wall. Make it down so then it's like right next to the base where you stopped. And then you have to weld it to the base. And there you go. Got a really easy to make suspension. As you can see, I'm gonna make a line of concrete which is decently heavy. I'll use the heaviest block, which is this thing. Redo it. As you can see, it only barely he starts to do it longer. Yeah, as you can see, it's not perfect, but it's strong. Delete this. It's lagging a bit. Okay. And with this thing here, this thing will fly if it wasn't connected to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it, and as you can see, it's lagging a lot because of the fact that it's being closed. We go put it like here. It will start flying. I'm gonna grab the lift, and as you can see, usually this thing start flying. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna rotate it in like 90 degrees. Okay, so if I a little bit like this, start it already, and grab it. Yes, as you can see, it will spin very aggressively. You can also do the same with a controller. You really need to, or an engine. You just need to provide force onto something. The suspension, and where it's both points are connected to the main part, but you can't do that normally. So you have to use bearings, things, piston, or more suspension. And I think there's one more thing. No, there's not one more thing. Okay. And that's all for suspension 101. Bye.